Modi ore te whānau, no mai hoki mai. Welcome back to the Practice Run, your frontline pass of the hardest sports action, brought to you by 99 Dreams, inspiring others to chase their dreams with your hosts, Rawuri, Tukoerangi, Sam Terangi. We're diving deep into the thrilling world of the NRL and rugby league today, and who knows where the game will take us tomorrow. From the try line to the sideline, baby, all season we've had you covered.
Strap in as we tackle the big plays, the game-changing moments, and the stories that define legends. Whether you're a seasoned vet or this is your first hit-up, the Practice Run is for everyone. Every run, every tackle, every win, experience the rush with us.
With exclusive insights, couch analysis, and a touch of humour, the Practice Run is here to keep you entertained, informed, and part of our practice squad. Because here, every practice run takes us one step closer to glory. The Practice Squad, where every listener is MVP, powering our play every episode, every day.
And we want to give a huge shout out to 99 Dreams for powering these episodes every day, every week, every minute, every hour. 99dreams.co.nz is where you can cop one of these hats, a hoodie, or a baseball jersey. Now let's check out this week's lineup. Today's episode's lineup, not this week, just this episode. But before I do, do moths come out of a cocoon? Do they come from a caterpillar, then a cocoon, then a moth? Or is that just butterflies?
I have no idea, but I know butterflies come from cocoon. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
how
where
do moths
come
exist?
from. What is moth an evolution of something? Like, does it evolve?
Well, it's got to come from something. How do they just appear?
I thought a moth's just a moth.
Or is it like one of them larvae that was an egg and then it's a larvae, like a maggot, and then it's a moth?
Oh, I don't know. I could not tell you. I wouldn't have a clue. But interesting question.
Sam, moths, cocoons, or maggots? I love how that's just the conclusion. It was either like a maggot-like substance or it was a cocoon.
I'm trying to think of the Pokemon evolution line.
Docs, it's a real thing, not a Pokemon.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to base off. There's like a fucking moth-like Pokemon. I'm trying to remember what its evolution line is.
Well, anyway.
Nah, it's larvae. It's got to be larvae.
There you go. Moths are maggots, ladies and gentlemen. Moths are maggots. That's disgusting. I don't even like moths either. They're like all dusty and shit. I hate summertime because moths be in your house when you forget to shut the window early enough. Not a fan. Anyway, today's lineup, what do we have for you? We have 2 installments of my GM mode. I will be taking you through a rebuilt Sydney Roosters. 2 will be taking you through a rebuilt Dragons. I forgot where they come from for a minute there. St. George Illawarra Dragons. We will recap the weekend's games. And we will touch on some big news concerning my Brisbane Broncos. We'll get into that very shortly. But first, let's have a little game of paper, scissors, rock. Ladies and gentlemen, every episode we do this. Currently, I am on a 3-game win streak. This will get me over the line, and I'll be, happy as Larry, as they say. It's just a regular paper, scissors, rock game. You know how you play at the playground. Paper beats rock, rock beats scissors, and scissors beats paper. Winners win, losers lose. Are you ready, Brother Sam?
Ready.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, shoot, and we go. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, shoot. 50-50 this, but we'll see how we go. And up. Oh, he got me. Sad. I went paper, he went scissors. For those listening on Spotify, Apple, Google, what other podcast streaming sites there are. Who knows? What should we do first? Should we talk about this complex situation that's happening in Brisbane at the moment that will sort of send ripple effect throughout the league, because this change is going to cause a knock-on effect, essentially. So should we knock this out of the way? Then we'll do the GM mode, and then we'll get through the rest of the episode. How's that sound?
Yep, good enough for me.
All right. So, what was it, Friday or Thursday? Friday, eh? Last week.
Yeah.
So, Friday last week, if you've been living under a rock all weekend, the Kevin Walters was just sacked. straight up sacked from the Broncos. Front office not wanting to put him through a half season next year, they decided to cut ties with him and build towards the future. He's had 4 seasons with the Brisbane Broncos. Let me just pull up the Brisbane Broncos stats from that. I'm pretty sure he's only had 1 top 10 finish in those 4 years. Let me have a quick look at that. Where does it give me my yearly stats? Season summary? This season? Yeah, this season. Okay, here we go. So, where does it show me? Later position. Okay, sweet. So this year we finished 12th. Last year we finished 2nd. The year before we finished 9th. And the year before that, 14th. So in his 4 years, only once has he been able to secure a top 8 finish. And that was last season. People saying he should have been given another year. In my biased opinion, 4 years and only 1 top 8 finish. I don't care that it was 2nd place and you made the grand final. It was 1 top 8 finish in your 4-year tenure. Your first year, oh no, sorry, I'll take that back. You made 7th in your first year. No, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. So you were 14th in your first year. There's so many lines of numbers. Yeah, so he was 14th in his first year, 9th in 2022, 2nd in 2023, and 12th this year. It's pretty underwhelming when you lay them out like that. Considering when Wayne Bennett was there from 2015 through to 2019, 2015, Wayno unfortunately missed out at the big dance, and we all know how that went, Ben? But then the following year, he got 5th. The year after that, 3rd. The year after that, 6th. And then Anthony Seibold came in. His first year, he did all right. We still crept into the top 8. But then after that, we got a bloody spoon for our trouble. Kevy comes back, gets us 2 places above spoon, gets us 1 place out of the 8, and then, takes us to the grand final, and then this year falls flat. What do you guys think about Kevy being sacked? Do you think it's fair? Do you, from this season, on the outside looking in, what have your guys' thoughts been around Kevy Walters and this Brisbane Broncos lineup? We'll talk about the upcoming candidates shortly, but we'll just talk about Kevy and his 4 years.
I guess from my perspective, it looks like he'd maybe lost the locker room a little bit. I don't know, he'd been there a while and maybe his voice wasn't resonating anymore. But you do have some superstars in that, so it's a bit tough to see. Just going back to where you guys finished 9th, there was a bit you were well entrenched inside the top 8, but that coincided with that drop off and finishing 9th coincided with Paddy Carrigan's suspension, because then he gets suspended for the last 4 weeks or something. He did something and was gone, and you just didn't win another game after he was suspended, and you just were pretty much 2nd or 3rd and ended up just outside the 8. So that one was a bit if he was there, you probably would have. I remember you were close to the top of the ladder, and then you just had this massive slide in the second half of the season, and it's just slowly but surely you just ended up outside the 8. But the signs were there, definite improvements from that first one. And then,
huge improvement.
That obviously the final, and then just I don't know. I think no one expected that sort of a drop off as to what actually happened. I don't know. He's kind of let some key players go and never, I guess, replace them, or he just assumed everyone would go to another level where they kind of didn't. Injuries don't help. A lot of it I felt was out of his control, but no, man. Such a big club, right? You're expected to do big things, and when everyone knows the roster you have and the type of players you have, the superstars, there are expectations, and he kind of did fall short of it. He was damned if you do, damned if you don't. Just a bit of a tough one,
You bring up the Paddy Carrigan situation in 2022, right? And I think that's been the downfall of Kevin Walters' tenure, is his reliance too much on his starting 13. Because when one of his starting 13 are gone, that team struggles. He doesn't really have a plan B, C, and D. There's no cover for injury. There's no cover for suspension. He's all in with that starting lineup, and we've seen it this year when one player goes down. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of players go down this season, but we're not the only team. And he's just failed to have that next man up mentality for our squad. We just haven't had that this season, and I don't think we've had that throughout his tenure. Last year was probably our best season because we had minimal injuries, minimal suspensions, and you got to see the full potential of the team. And I think, as sad as it is to say this, but like with someone who can coach, you were supposed to see this team full of potential go that next level up and achieve some of that potential that they had perceived our team to have this season. Even with a few key losses, I mean, you look at Penrith, they've lost key players almost every year and they still re-up. So I think having someone who has a coaching pedigree come through could make a difference with this team. What are your thoughts on that, Sam?
Like, based on this season, I think it was a bit quick, given that you guys were in the grand final last year and looked a pretty good chance to win it. But I mean, he took over the team that won the wooden spoon, right?
Yeah.
And then, they went 14th, and they just missed the playoffs, grand final, and this year they finish 12th, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think the signs are there that I don't know if it's the talent that helps him win or if he's like actually doing a semi-decent job, but it doesn't really seem like he's developing enough of the talent. Because like you said, it's heavily reliant on the 13, which again a lot of clubs are, but then also a lot of clubs have really big impact off the bench.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's tough just because obviously they won the grand final last year, looked pretty good chance to win it, and then this year just your most important players wouldn't have played more than 2/3 of the season, maybe. Like, how much did Reece miss?
He missed a lot, but he also had origin duties that helped him miss 2-3 games through that period, as well as he lost 5 games when Taylor smashed him. Then he had a corked thigh. Then he missed, I think, about 4 or 5 games when Joseph smashed him. And then he had an ankle injury or something like that. Then he's been off and on all year. Yeah. I think he's played maybe.
There's Mams missed a lot of time. Reynolds missed a lot of time, and he was massive for you guys last year. At least when I was watching, it felt like he was probably the most irreplaceable person in the league. And then Payne's been injured, but then I don't really know. With Payne, I don't really know when he's injured and when he's just playing through a lot of stuff.
I think it's a bit of both.
So
I think he's just forced to play on.
Yeah, and then the Mariner situation where he got switched from the wing to the centers to cover whoever was missing. There's a lot of things around there where I think that lead me to believe it's a little bit premature to let him go. But also with the roster and the talent you guys have, next year's wasted if you guys fire him halfway through the season, or if you fire him at say the 6 week
end
mark
of the year or whatever.
Because if you fire him throughout the season, because that next coach kind of comes in and says I haven't had my preseason, I haven't been able to implement our structures, everything like that. This year's kind of a write off, and with the talent and the money you guys are going to pay to a lot of those players next year, don't really have the time to do it.
Yeah, and it's tough knowing some of the players that are on contract for the money that they're on. like that's also some of coach's job. Previous coach, club legend Kevin. Yeah, like it's sad to see him go. Like he's an amazing person. I always see his off field stuff, and you know he's nothing but spectacular. I guarantee he's an amazing father, husband, and person. Just as the coach of the head coach of the Brisbane Broncos, I just think, yeah, not quite a great. I think he could be a great assistant coach. He's got a great football mind. It's just like Tu said, I don't think he had the locker room anymore, or there's something missing because more often than not, the games we were losing were because of lack of coaching adjustments. We ran Smoothie, I think his name is, for so long this season. I can't even remember because like he just annoys me so much. But yeah, it was Smoothie that we ran for most of the season. And then by the time we got Blake Moser going, the season was pretty much over. We were up to win every game or we're done part of the season. And, you know, as fantastic as Blake Moser is, it was just too late in the season to interject something new like that into the game plan. I'm excited to see if the new coaches, you know, tap into a lot of the youth that we do have in Brisbane. Like, our junior system's pretty decent. We just never give them the light of day until another club starts looking at them, and then next thing you know, they're gone. You know, there are a lot of superstars in the comp at the moment that are Brisbane juniors that have come through Brisbane systems. You look at the Dolphins, you look at the Cowboys, the Roosters have one of them. They're everywhere. You've got former Broncos. Here's a question to you guys. What is something that all the bottom teams had in common this year?
Off the top of the head, it's more like a club-wide issue, like management from top down. Kind of everyone's not on the same page. It feels different agendas is the thing that comes to mind. Got in-club fighting or in-house fighting. Boards not on the same page. Kind of they don't have like a vision or not buying into whatever it is they're selling. You know, that's kind of like what I view it as. And then I don't know, I feel as though juniors take time to come through. Like, we've got some good juniors coming through now in Bulldogs, but they won't see NRL for another 2-3 years, I don't think. So we won't bear the fruits of the good work our juniors are doing for another 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5 years. So it takes time. But it feels like for the first time in a while, all the Bulldogs are on the same page, and it's from top down. From the CEO down to the board, down to the coaches, everyone feels as though is actually heading in the same direction and they have the same vision. But yeah, I don't know. What's it like at the Tigers? Are they all together? On board?
Oh, hey man, that last board, they got out. They got out, but not before they did enough damage. I don't know. Like I look at the clubs that are down the bottom this year. Eels very much feel like they were being together a bit too long. Like kind of after they made their grand final and then they didn't win it. They haven't really looked the same since. They didn't look the same the year after they did it. So it's kind of like probably being together a bit too long. South, I didn't think every coach after Bennett tends to fail. And then they just decided to stick with Demetrio far too long. And so now they've got Wayne back. Titans have kind of been the same as us. Where they've been just bad for so long. And I don't really know anyone who talks about the Titans, so I have no idea what goes on at the Titans on their board, what their juniors look like or anything.
Actually, the Titans always just, like, everyone just expects them to be shit. When they do well, they're like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. No one actually, like, has any interest in them, eh?
It's as long as I've followed the NRL, I think the Titans have had, like, 2 good seasons. And that's been, like, when we were also good. it's kind of just that. And then us, man, we're super young. Our older players also aren't old, but like play like they're really old. Clem is still in his 20s.
Bro.
He doesn't play. He plays like he is near retirement. So yeah, like it's a lot of things like that with us, and then it's kind of like like we're too old, and then we're too young. So it's a little bit iffy, but with Richardson and with Benji, there's a lot to like about the way that Benji does things. Maybe in a game that matters, don't say to everyone though, "Hey man, just throw the ball around." Throw the ball around. Hey, maybe let's control a little bit here, right? But yeah, other than that, like, I don't know. It's tough because like normally the bottom teams, like there are a lot of similarities. This year it's not really there because the Eels fired their coach, the Rabbits fired their coach, and those are two just rosters who probably should be in the top 8 if you look at it. Meanwhile, yeah. Titans, hey, come on, brother. Come back down the bottom with us. You're the only common denominator. Oh, like, you're the only, people who are with us. Like, everyone else, like, kind of like their rosters are really good. The Titans, their roster's decent, but injury prone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
See, for me, the bottom teams this year, or pretty much any team outside of the 8, maybe minus the Dolphins, but most of us outside of the 8 didn't have an identity. There wasn't something that our teams this year were built on. And for the likes of the Bunnies, the Eels, it was their coach on the way out, so they couldn't really build anything and maintain any stability because, well, for the Bunnies anyway, they knew, I think, 3 games in that Demetrio had to go. So that was rough.
They knew last year and kept
that was rough for the bro. Like he was literally on borrowed time. I think the Brad Arthur came out of nowhere. It was just all of a sudden they were just sick of not being the top team with their roster, but their roster don't play together like a team should.
Brad had been there 11 years, and like they're in their drought. They haven't won in ages, and then also doesn't help. Mitch was injured for so much, and then when Mitch finally got healthy, they said, "Get out."
Yeah.
There was
Timothy Moses.
Yeah, and I think that caught a lot of those players off guard. The Brisbane Broncos had no identity. So last year, a lot of our wins came off of our kicking game, and we had an ability to defend last year. This season, we played 0 defense, and our kicking game was non-existent because Reynolds wasn't there. And without Reynolds' kicking game, Mam doesn't have a kicking game. He's got a run game. He don't got a kicking game. He got a chip and chase. That's about it. So we've got no identity. We're just out there playing football. The Titans, I have no idea what their identity is. For a little bit there, it looked like defense, and then for a little spree there, it was just play through your winger. Either one, they'll get 4 tries. It's all good. Don't care which.
The Titans' identity is AJ Brimson. A little bit here, a little bit there. We don't actually know what you are.
100%. Who else was in the Dragons? They were a confusing team. For bits there, they looked good. They again had no defense. Their attack was really reliant on Lomax, so it's hard to build an identity around that because teams just go, "Oh, well, they've got to kick it over here. It's 5th," and look, I told you. And so you can't really build an identity around that. Who else was outside of the 8 this year? Raiders. See, Raiders found some identity when they were eliminated. That is their identity. They are the season killers. When theirs is dead. When they're competing for a season, they go missing.
It's them versus the Cowboys. Where that week I talked them up and I was like, there's just no way they lose this. Their forward pack should steamroll, and the Cowboys beat them by what, like 35?
Yeah, they put it on them.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
And then you look at the bandwagon. They went from being a super momentum team last season. You could say that was for the Warriors. That was a historic season. Just it was their homecoming season. They were coming back home from COVID. Just everything clicked that year. And then for some reason, this year just fell off. They had zero identity. Sean just looked like a shell of himself, and the bro just retired. They got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, so that in itself improves your roster. You got a Dally M medalist returning. But again, that identity, they didn't know where he was playing. They didn't know how to accommodate for him. They didn't know how to accommodate this particular team. And that's why I said most of those teams outside the top 8 just didn't have any identity this season. So let's give this sacking a ranking. A+ to an F.
That's wild.
We'll start with you, Sam.
Wild.
We'll start with you, Sam. What are we giving this grade? Kevin Walters gets sacked. A+?
I mean,
or you think it's an F?
Less than a year ago, they won the grand final. So, like a C minus.
C minus? Okay,
Is a C minus a pass? That's like barely pass, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
borderline. But
Yeah. I'm going to give it a barely pass because they won the grand final last year. But also with this team, you can't sack him midway through next year. Because that writes off next year too. No coach is going to come in there next year halfway through and suddenly transform their team.
Yeah.
So that's why, because last year you guys won the grand final, but you also can't sack him midway through next year.
Nope.
What about you two? What do you got?
I was thinking same lines as you, actually. I was going to give it a C. A lot of it will depend on who they've got coming in. If they've got someone lined up, then I've got no issues with it. But if he's given the sack just because and they don't have a plan, I kind of have issues with that. Normally when you make a call like this, you better have something in place, or at least be talking to someone, who you're confident is going to take the job. You don't just do it on a whim. But yeah, if they did it on a whim, then I would give it a straight F. But if sounds like they might have a plan, so I would give it a C. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a regular listener to the show, welcome back. You are listening to the practice run. You already know, I think this is an A+. Excellence endorsed. They got this first class honors. It's about time, ladies and gentlemen. It is about time. It is hard being the coach of a team that had a storied, and I say had, a storied history. It'd be like, whoever comes in after Craig Bellamy and they've got a roster full of superstars and they struggle to make the 8, Storm fans are going to want to change a guard. If the Roosters, if they had a new coach and they've got a great team on paper and they go 4 years and only get into the grand final once in those 4 years, they're wanting a change of guard. So we're on there. We're not used to being down the bottom of the table. We're not used to losing. If you look back when Wayne Bennett was there, only when did he last leave? 2018. So 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago? I don't know how many years ago that was. I'm not good at math. When Wayno was there, we never missed playoffs. We're always playing footy in August and September. And then friggin' Seabold, him and Peter Gentle took us to the bottom. And then Kevy Only took us to the finals once. Only took us to playoffs once. It's tough. But I'm a little bit relieved because it feels horrible bagging a player that brought us so much glory. A former player that, you know, he was our guy. He was, man. He was arguably, until Darren came along, like one of our best sixes that we've ever had in the Broncos jersey. So it's, yeah, I wish him nothing but the best. I hope him health and light and love and positivity. Kevy, go well. Wherever you go, take your son with you, brother. Please and thank you. Now, looking ahead to the candidates, we have the names being thrown around at the moment is a combination of Trent Barrett and Ben Teal, two current assistant coaches contracted with the Brisbane Broncos. Then they've got the likes of former All Black, which is a weird concept. Where is he from? Brad Thorne. He's a Queenslander, played for the Kangaroos, played for the All Blacks. Where the hell is he from? How is he All Black eligible is what I want to know. So his name's getting thrown around. Two threw up the Walker brothers. Then you've also got the likes of Brad Arthur. Billy Slater turned it down pretty quickly. He was on a radio show the next morning. They asked him, Bill, what are your thoughts? He goes, nah, I'm only coaching Queensland. I'm only coaching Queensland. He said, if an opportunity came up to coach, I'd hope it's in Melbourne. But no, I will not be coaching the Brisbane Broncos. So Bill shut that down very quickly.
Shock.
Yeah, shock horror.
Absolute shock. The worst kept secret. If he's taking any job, it's Melbourne.
Yeah. I was like, who even threw that up as a possibility? That's someone who's been listening too much to our GM modes. Who else did they throw around? A few others. But the current front runner is a man that all three of us know and love. He has carried our Kiwis. Well, I don't know about Sam, but to be honest...
Love's a tough one.
You gave him a shit roster. You can't blame that all on him. That was a poor board and a shit roster.
And guess what? That board got to stay for 10 years.
Yeah. See?
No, I do.
So you can't put all that blame on him. Because you look at what he did with the Bunnies. You look at what he's done with the Kiwis. And then most recently, this year, what he did with that New South Wales team was, nothing shy of spectacular. We still talk. What's the word I'm looking for? We talk great things on that games. On that games?
Series. On that series.
On that series, there we go.
Oh.
Brothers, I'm part Tongan. Shoo. On that games. Okay. So, Madge is currently the front runner for the Brisbane Broncos coaching role. We will keep an eye on it. It has been updated 2 hours ago that he is in the driver's seat. There are rumours that New South Wales Rugby League has released him and allowed him to, if he so wishes, to pursue this potential job at the Brisbane Broncos. I've got a couple of questions for you boys, but what are your overall thoughts on Madge going to the Brisbane Broncos?
If it's confirmed, yeah, I mean, how many top-tier coaches do we have on the side? And he's, well, I guess on a representative level, done well. I don't know, is he the coach that they need for this team? Like, will they listen to him? You just never know. So it's a hard one, man, because like you said it before, this team's kind of got young guys and old guys. There's like no in between, so it's finding a style that meshes both of them. I think if he can get everyone on board and get them to do their job as he's done with the Kiwis and New South, I think it'll be a great signing, but it's a big if. So yeah, I don't know, but compared to what's available, yeah, I'd say pretty decent, pretty good coach. That's my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, it's Like, considering what's available, like, you know, you take the best available, and that's what he is. Yeah, it's my bigger concern is that like it's quite a young team, so it's kind of what I've seen him with the young team. He tried to be real like hard on them, and like this is the way we're gonna play, and the players hated him, and I hated the players. So so I backed him to the hill because I was like, he's won the comp. He knows what you guys need to do. Look at the players he had while he was there. Like he knows the formula, and you guys don't want to put into him. And I kind of wonder if the new age player is a bit more resistant to that rather than kind of. That's one thing you hear a lot about the younger players is that the new coaches kind of pamper towards them. They don't necessarily hold them as accountable as they should. And so I wonder if it might be a little bit of like a culture shock to those guys. On the other hand, he has the advantage of he's worked with Reynolds before. He's worked with Haas. So at least like he's got some people who are pretty influential within that squad that he's going to be able to lean on and use them to, you know, at least push the standards and be able to help with getting buy-in a bit quicker than like what a normal coach would if he just comes and has no relationship with any of them. But yeah, and it has the ability to be a really good hiring, but also kind of like the ability to kind of, I think, probably more so show a lot of issues within the roster and how they've been treated by the organization for the last few years in terms of the young players.
Yeah, I definitely echo what you're saying there. It's going to show a lot of the cracks in this Brisbane roster and in the Brisbane organization, how well he goes as coach. Because like you say, he's, you know, done it before. He's coached Reynolds before. He knows Haas. He knows Ricky. Who else is one of the Kiwi boys? Should anyone else who've played for the Kiwis over the past couple of years or been in the, you know, in the wider training squad for the Kiwis, he knows those lads. What I'm more concerned about isn't so much the age of the players, but the origin of the players. For a lot of these boys, they just finished playing against him. And we all know how that went down, ladies and gentlemen. Should have been a whitewash. It should have been a whitewash. It would have been. So, you know, it's how maybe they're more receptive to him because, you know, he coached New South Wales to beating them. I'm assuming he'll understand most of our top players, how they play, because he would have formulated a game plan to accommodate, you know, slowing down Patrick Carrigan, slowing down Reece Walsh and the likes. So you can't say that he doesn't understand the assignments of who he's coaching. It's just, it's going to be tough being the most recent New South Wales coach going to coach Brisbane. Not from the fans' point of view. I think the fans just want someone that can win. But for them old motherfuckers that played in those grand finals, that won us those championships, they don't like it. Webke, is that how you say his last name? I don't know. It's a fucked last name anyway.
Yeah.
He's not a fan. He hates it. He goes, how can we have a New South Wales coach coaching a Queensland side? Is Seabold, is he from Queensland?
You would think so.
No,
but I don't know.
But if you remember back to those times, that was one of the biggest knocks they had on him. Was that there was no relationship between him, the squad, and the old boys. So I remember that being just a massive thing for years, and I was like, well, I feel like it's not that big an issue. And then every time you had to hear about, how Wayne had the old boys.
Like, who cares about the old boys, man? They're old for a reason. Half of them are in media. Some of them work for the Titans. It doesn't matter their opinion. all that matters is that we get wins on the board. You get wins on the board, it shuts everyone up. That's all you got to do. Get wins on the board, it shuts everyone up. So, let me ask a couple of questions. If Madge gets this role, what are our expectations with the given roster? Say it's moderately healthy. They have a better season next year health-wise than they did this season. What are your guys' expectations for the Broncos with Madge at the helm?
You got to think top 8, if not top 4. That's where I'd have the expectations, or at least I'd say at worst top 8.
Yeah. I think 9th is a disappointment. It's got to be 8 and above.
I mean, yeah, like based on talent, right? Like it's a top 8, probably top 6 with a pretty good chance of top 4. But I struggle a little bit with it because, like we say, like right with a moderate amount of like a moderate, healthy team. Reynolds is old. Reynolds is old, and teams hit him. Haas tends to miss games, or like he gets injured. Whether or not he plays through them is another thing.
Is he might not be playing for Australia this Pacific Championship. So, this will be the first time in a long time that he's actually had a chance to recover the body, because he's normally always in those Australian teams.
I still look at him, man. He puts in a massive load every week.
Oh, every week.
Like,
it's
kind of, I kind of liken him to JT, where JT when he was young, no problem, but again, his mid-20s, hey, that's an issue. That's now an issue. So part of me does kind of wonder, does Payne potentially go down that kind of route where, like, yeah, he can do it now, but at some point it hits a breaking point, and then it comes pretty fast from there.
Well, that's why we've only got him on a 3-year contract.
Is it 3 years now?
Yeah. But see, that was Seabold's fault, I think. Seabold was playing him 80 minutes per game. So it's all about that load management. But I think we've seen it in Origin, though. He did get a decent spell off the bench on the Pine under Maz during those. And I think some of that might have been under instruction from Kevin during thinking that some of his players had to get rested because they tend to get overused at Clubland.
It's also a big help when, hey, come here, Spencer, go.
Yeah.
When Spencer's that guy coming off the bench.
And I guess that's what a good coach does, though, in terms of like building a season, is you've got to make sure that those coming off the bench, they're never going to be as impactful as your starters, but you need to have them ready to go and able to contribute and do a job. Make X amount of tackles, make X amount of meters. As long as you're out there doing your job, doing the best you can, then that's all that's guaranteed. With Kevin, it felt like he was just making interchanges. He wasn't making coaching adjustments. He was just going, all right, sweet, Payne, you're off. Willison, you're on. Jensen, you're off. Baker, you're on. And then Baker makes a mistake, and Baker stays out there. And then, all right, Kaseki, you're up. Now we're going to move. Ricky, you go to centre. You'll get torched there, I know, but you go to centre, hold it there. And, Dean, you go back on the wing, buddy, because Cobbo's injured. So I'm just, I hope we get a coach that will look at how our team's injuries have trended, look at what players are progressing in a positive manner, which players are regressing in a negative manner. Who takes over as the coach of New South Wales if Madge gets this job?
I mean, that's a job that almost any coach would want. I don't know if they'll look towards a current coach or someone who's not on contract. You would think that they'd go someone off contract. I don't know. I feel as though the NRL season's too long now for a coach to do both, coach his team and do New South Wales. It's a bit too much to ask for. But who they'll get, I don't know, man. Who's available? There must be heaps of players available. Top of my head, I feel as though they.
I can read off a list for you of names.
Oh, well, the biggest thing, right, is that because they went through this search last year. What was the whole thing they didn't want? They didn't want someone who had aspirations to be a club coach. They hired Madge knowing it. They hired Madge knowing the moment he had a chance to coach a team, he was going. And
it was a great audition tape.
Shock, after one year, he's gone.
Winning a series. It's a great audition tape for any head coaching role.
Bro, he got that role from the Kiwis, right? Like what he did with them, and then that pretty much stepped him up to that, and then now he stepped up. Man knows how to get back to coaching NRL. I'll give him that. All right.
It's kind of like that whole thing where I think it was last year Freddie talked about it where the NRL, the New South Wales board didn't see it as like a 9-month a year job or something. It was more they saw it as the origin period. Meanwhile, Freddie kind of looked at it as the whole thing where, like, as that coach, you've got to look out for what's coming through. You got to look after everybody. You got to get those, like, I know they do like a preseason camp for like all the fringe origin players with New South Wales. Like, he looks at all of that as the New South Wales head job. Meanwhile, New South Wales didn't really look at it that way. So it's kind of like finding, I guess, who's going to fit within what you're looking for, but you also don't want to turn this into a revolving door. Where, like, at least with Billy in Queensland, the only job he's going for is Melbourne.
Yeah.
And, hey, you're going to have notice of when Craig hangs that up. Meanwhile, this one, I don't really know who they get.
Well, I can read out for you a couple of the names that are floating around. Some look believable, and some look very, very left field, as the article suggests. So in this article from Fox Sports, they say former coaches Ricky Stewart and Laurie Daly could be in line for recalls. But the New South Wales Rugby League reportedly are eyeing big fish in grand final coaches Ivan Cleary and Craig Bellamy. Some other names also expected to be in the mix include Paul McGregor, John Cartwright, Trent Barrett, Michael Ennis, Brad Arthur, Matt King, Nathan Brown, Brett White, and Brad Fittler. Their left field options include bringing back Phil Gould or trialling the Johns brothers. Obviously, someone was drinking a bit too much Kool-Aid and thought Phil Gould would be keen, or the Johns brothers would somehow work together when they both know they don't agree always on some subjects. So, of those names, who are some names that stick out to you?
Well, I can tell you, the two in the grand final, I'm taking it.
Not unless they move Origin to the end of the year in a 3-weekend series.
Craig's done it before. He's done both, but I don't think he did. Well, I mean, the team didn't win because I think it was during that stretch of 8 in a row. So I know he's definitely coached New South Wales before, so he's got the experience to do it. But yeah, and then Ivan. I mean, if Ivan gets it, you'd almost think we'll just end up with the whole Penrith squad, wouldn't we? You know, like, you know what I mean? Like that 13 almost picks itself.
Yeah.
And then Phil Gould, I think it's just a little bit too old. The Johns brothers, that would be an interesting one, but I think Joey's said that he wouldn't take the job, right? Like, I think coming from him. So looking at the names we've got left, I like the Matt King. I think, going with a younger one who's bided his time as an assistant, I think that could be a good option. The other one, I mean, Trent Barrett, again, great assistant, head coach, trash.
Hey, maybe he suits the 3-game series sort of vibe.
I don't see it with him, because he's a system coach. Like that's his coaching style. So either you know his system, or you don't got 3 games to enter a system when you've only got your team for a week. Like that's just not going to work, because then he'll have to pick players that either know his system already, or players who can pick it up quickly. And if he can't, like from the looks of it, every time he's been head coach, he's died with that system. Like,
I was gonna say he's a system coach.
Yeah, like
guess what? Every time he's gone.
Yeah. Like that's it, man. Which system coaches are great assistants, but I don't know if they make. I've heard things about Brett Morris or the Morris twins when they were like going to retire. There always talks about those two being quite good coaches. Or,
Aren't they at the Roosters in some capacity?
Yeah, I think they're coaching there. I don't know like what capacity, but I'm pretty sure they're there. I'd maybe look at them, like just go with what Billy Slater's doing for the Maroons. Why not give a shot to someone of that level, especially if they respect, and because they're still young enough. Well, they played against half the players, right? That are still in the league, so they kind of could connect to them on a different level.
And you might see Michael Jennings getting a call up, their old teammate.
But yeah, I mean Nathan Brown. It's what do you look for? Like an X and O's coach or a motivating coach? I mean, Madge is. I have to give credit to Madge. He's great at making adjustments. Fuck, he's pretty on to it when it comes to that.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
What about Hindy? Isn't he in a new coaching role at Para?
Nah,
Yeah,
sure.
Why don't they put together?
Look where they
Why
are
don't they
this
put
year.
together like how the Queensland have got JT, Billy, Cam, like they've got a crew. Why don't they get a crew together and like obviously just appoint one person as the guy that fronts up to the media, but we all know it's a crew that works on that Queensland side.
Yeah, ideally that's what you need, right? Like a whole crew that's working. I know. I feel as though it's just never been New South Wales style. I couldn't,
Maybe that's why we lost so many. Couldn't get a crew together that can fucking gel and stick together and, grind out a win against those Queenslanders.
It's a tough one, man.
I want to see Gold do it. I want to see him do it.
He's too old. He can't do it.
Yeah.
3 games.
He's too busy running our Bulldogs. He's got a job to do there.
No. He can do
it. He's a voice for the people.
The New South Wales people.
he's even retired from the final word, eh? Gus's final word before the games.
Yeah, that was.
Those are always like.
Those are touch and go.
There's gonna be high bears for the game.
Those are touch and go. Some of them are dry. He'd always harp on about frickin' Greg Inglis being from frickin' New South Wales, playing for Queensland.
Fair enough.
I was like, shit.
Half that immortal team was like,
Queensland aren't quite sure what is Queensland.
It is a bit of New South Wales, a lot of Aotearoa, Tonga, Samoa, Papua New Guinea, and a little bit of Brisbane, a little bit of Gold Coast, and a little bit of Townsville. That's it. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is as much news as we have at the minute in this situation. And that's the kind of knock-on effect, no pun intended, of the potential Madge signing. If the Broncos sign Madge, then New South Wales will have to react and appoint a new coach. And they're going to need to do it before the end of internationals, because you don't want to go into next year without a coach again, because there's not many available, as we've just read out. So, yeah. Who do I think should coach New South Wales next? Fucking Stacey Jones. So we get a new coach. I ain't even seen him coach us yet, but I already know we need a new one. Yeah.
You're sad, man.
Hey, tell me I'm sad when we lose a series.
I want to see who are his assistants. I'll look that up while we carry on.
I'm pretty sure it's like Monty Beetham, freaking Adam Blair,
Oh,
Ruben
by the
Wiki.
way, Brad Thorne, born in Otago.
Is he actually?
Yeah.
When did he move to Aussie? The next day?
Hold on, let me see. Early.
He's a true blue Australian. That
Born in
bloke.
Mosgiel, just outside of Dunedin,
hey,
in the
Mosgiel even.
southeastern Otago.
Mosgiel.
I feel as though they don't even talk about him in Dunners. Never heard about him.
He's not one that, like, I've heard of Danyon Loader.
Yeah.
I've never heard of.
Everyone's
Brad
heard of
Thorne.
Loader.
Yeah. They named the pools after him. He went to Bayfield.
Yep. There's always the other one. Oh, I forget her name. Yvette something. I only know that one from Spates.
Oh, no, there's another one. She went to Girls High. The Girls High had a few athletes too, cricketers and stuff.
5.
Otago's 5 cricketers.
No. He was 5 when he moved.
Ah, boy, you're a Kiwi, you lying son of a bitch. Fucking nah. Oh, you get no respect. You go down the. You're below Tupo Vai in locks now. You fake. You're fake. Right, where am I going? GM mode. Our favorite time of the week, GM mode, where we bring fantasy to reality. This is GM mode. So in GM mode, we have each been given a sporadic amount of teams for us to trade, rebuild, and regather amongst ourselves. Some of the trades more unrealistic than others. And some of the signings, you just got to keep it true to your theme. What other rules am I missing? If you've missed a few, just go back. They're all titled GM mode returns, GM mode this, GM mode that. Just go back and have a listen. There's some good ones, and there's some terrible ones, and there's some ones you'll be going, eh? So be sure to go check those out. Leave your comments down below. Who's had the best rebuild so far? Whew. 2 will be doing the Dragons after I do the Roosters. This one's a little bit jumbled. Like I said the other day, there are a few moves that I had to accommodate, which I don't think I wrote down because it was all inter teams that I'd done to make a certain player come on home. Well, not come home, actually. So, Mark from Rugby and Daniel Threepool, we sent them to Aotearoa. So, yeah, Mark, that was short-lived here in Australia, brother. But you're off to Auckland, my bro. I don't know. And Daniel Tupou, get some tattoos, cuz it look like a 501. You're also off to Auckland. Good luck over there, brothers. We are bringing back Roger Tuivasa-Sheck to the Roosters. We're going to let him ride out that career. We're going to let him be fullback where he should be at the Roosters. And then, like I said, Victor Radley ended up in the Bulldogs. But before that, I traded Victor Radley to the Knights for Cameron Murray. And I don't know where he went after that to get to the Bulldogs, but that's beyond this Roosters side. So Cam Murray, welcome to the Roosters, my friend. No Fahu White. I said, see you later, alligator. I need a try scorer to replace Angus Crichton. Because if you have seen the Titans rebuild, I swapped David Fafita for Angus Crichton back then. I decided to make that thing happen to see, happy days. So, no Fahu White, if you remember it in the Storm rebuild, he went there and we got Ali Katoa. Ali Katoa has a great strike rate at getting tries, and that's all we care about. I have no Brandon Smith, nor no Connor Watson. I have no idea who the hell's supposed to be playing hooker, but I've been given someone Da Silva from
Talo
who?
the Silver.
Someone, anyway. From where'd he come from? Tigers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, someone. So we got rid of him. He went to the Panthers with Capel, and we got Mitch Kenny now. I also got rid of Justin Olam. I'm assuming he came with De Silva. Do you have De Gold? Tedesco and Justin Olam. Lada Bolt, they went to the Bunnies. And we got Latrell Mitchell coming home to the Roosters. Jaden Hunt, we signed from the Broncos. Purely because I didn't want him at the Broncos. You like that one, eh?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Hey, Sam, you're shaking your head because you got said you didn't do that, eh?
No. I moved all my contracts I didn't want.
Yeah, see, at least I'm not forcing shit players and shit trades for an uneven trade. I'm just giving them away.
What do you mean? I was helping take salary off the books while also moving some that we didn't want.
My final signing, got to stick with the rugby theme. I got rid of one rugby player. We're bringing one back. We're turning back the clock, ladies and gentlemen. We're bringing the ever-religious, the anti-rainbow, Israel Folau to my Sydney Roosters. Put him on the wing. Dom Young on the other wing. That's just a recipe for kicks, ladies and gentlemen. We also inherited Lachlan Galvin somehow. Jackson Ford came over in the Connor Watson trade. Rio Dyer. I think I picked him up from rugby. Let me double check where he come from. I think he's Welsh. Let me just double check. Rio Dyer. Yeah, look, he's Welsh, man. He's Welsh. How old is he? 24. Wicked player. Look at his highlights. Wicked player. He's my 19th man. Depending how Folau goes, Folau's lost a step. In comes Dyer. Dyer's also what position does he actually play? I can't remember. He's a winger. Yeah. So he'll be coming on for Folau if Folau's up to no good. He's 6'1", so he's a tall winger, like the Roosters like. We like those tall wingers here in Bondi Beach. He's pretty quick. He scored 10 points for under 20s in 7 appearances, and he scored 30 points in 19 appearances for Wales. So he's a Welsh international. And now he's picked up by the Roosters as our 19th man, sort of a training role. And yeah, we expect him in the squad, if not 2025, 2026. We're just doing it kind of like a farewell run for Israel Folau. I think he's getting into podcasting with his wife. So here's my 1 to 19. At fullback, the returning Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I don't know if you've caught on to the theme yet. But we've got a few returning players, and that's how I've built this squad. On the wings, we've got Dom Young and Izzy Folau. In the centres, Jack Howarth and Latrell Mitchell. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how I got Jack Howarth here, but I made it work somehow. I think I got rid of Townsend to the Eels for Howarth, and I traded someone from the Eels to wherever Howarth went. Manly, maybe. And that's how I got Howarth. In the halves, we've got Lachlan Galvin and what's his name? Sam Walker. At hooker, we've got Mitch Kenny. The props, we have Terrell May and Jackson Ford. Our second row are David Fafita and Ali Couture. And at lock, we have Cam Murray. On the bench, we've got Lachlan Croker, Martin Tapu, Nat Butcher, De La Salva'a, Jaden Hunt, and our 19th man is Rio Dyer. And that is the Sydney Roosters rebuild, ladies and gentlemen. I think I did the best I could. I think with some of the parts that I had. There was a few players that I just knew I weren't keeping, and considering we got given randoms that I had never seen play before. Have you ever seen De Silva play?
I don't even know if he might have
Does he
played
exist?
a few games.
Or is he like a Make-A-Wish?
I wouldn't have a clue. That'd be to come from a Tigers fan.
But yeah, look, take a look at that, critique it, pull it apart, give it a final grade.
It's got Roosters written all over it, I reckon. You know? Like big signings, big shiny players. Cam Murray at 13, David Fafita. You know, I mean, what? Latrell's back, RTS back, Falau. I like it, man. I like it a lot. Just looking at the bench. Overall, I'd say strong team. I mean, how could it not be? RTS
I think the
back.
props say.
I think Terrell May, he can be like he's solid. Jackson Ford's coming into his own, but yeah, if I would be worried, it would be your props. No, Martin Tapawu isn't getting younger. Nat Butcher, I'm not really sold on him anymore. I feel as though he's kind of been stagnant, hasn't really improved. But you know, you got Mr. Fix It, Cam Murray there at 13, and then just give it to an edge, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Early
yeah.
board. Early ball. But overall, I think it's a solid team. Be interesting to see how Garvin and Walker go. Both young halves. Both got superstar potential. So if they hit, you're looking dangerous. And then
At least you got a lot of veterans there though that can pull both their heads in.
The only thing I'm worried is that kind of players who need the ball.
Yeah, a lot of them, eh?
Yeah. Or ones who they don't need but you would prefer them to have the ball. Like you want Latrell with the ball, you want RTS with the ball.
Yeah.
Sam Walker he needs the ball. Lachlan Garvin can kind of play off. Fafita, early ball.
Yeah, Fafita, bro, he's pushing Mitch Kenny out the way and taking a dummy ball. He's done that in the Gold Coast a lot this year. Pushed their hooker out the way and just took it.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the only things if I was being critical.
Well, because, I'm looking at it go Cam Murray, Fafita, Terrell May, Ali Couture. That's 4 tackles there already used up. And you haven't even got it to your specialty players out the back.
You know, we always talk about going with the back 5, right? RTS on that return, Dom Young taking your second hit up, Israel Folau.
Latrell on a hit up?
He's not a hit up player.
Is
You
he-
don't
Hey,
see hit ups.
Is he behind the ball by the time he needs to take a hit up?
Nah, him there off the back of who's inside him? Off Dom Young run. He's just there. Boom. That's a break.
Yeah, is he there?
Of course. This is Roosters Latrell, brother. This ain't South Latrell. They got discipline in Sydney.
Okay, that young Latrell
They do not have discipline in Sydney. The most penalised team. Nah, but I give it to me. For now?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Well, the NRL said why not. They're not registering his contract.
Oh, they are in fantasy.
So, wait. So, in fantasy, we're saying Israel gets in, but then I couldn't sign Joey Manu to their contract because the NRL in real life said nah.
Yeah, because we've talked about this many times. It was announced.
Yeah.
It is announced Israel never getting back in the NRL.
Because Joey Manu's never playing for the Tigers. That's why.
Years ago, mate.
That's the real check.
Izzy
But anyway.
was also just never playing in league again.
Anyway, move past it.
Yeah, you need to let that go, man. Just move on.
Continue.
Yeah.
Just continue. You're holding us up.
I'm giving you the grade. I'm giving you the grade, and I'm not saying shit.
Go. What do you got?
Yeah.
Your grades are incomplete because you put players not eligible in this team.
Oh, man. Once again,
That's
you
incomplete.
let it go.
That
You
was
let
dry.
it go, man.
That's incomplete. I'm not letting you go.
I'll give it. I had like a B plus, A minus. I think this team should be good enough with the coach to, make the 8, if not top 4. Do have questions around, the props and the ability to give everyone the ball, but on their day, you have all I see is match winners across the park. Walker can win you a game, Latrell can win you a game, RTS, Cam Murray, David Fafita. Like, there's players who can almost single-handedly win you games. And you a few of the Roosters, you got to kind of like pretty much hit a home run, right? Or at least try.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to try things. Yeah.
All in. All in. This is 100% all in on black.
All right, then.
Spin the wheel, man.
Going on? Am I doing the
We got that roulette going on. Well, I think the bro froze for a little bit. So in the room, you're gonna have to give some feedback, Sam. You're gonna have to while the bro.
He is.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to give some feedback.
I'm too busy shaking my head.
You're gonna have to give us some feedback now, brother.
I mean, it's very much the same. It's the middles are the issue.
Yeah.
Like the
There
middles
wasn't
are
any
a
left.
big issue. What was
There
that?
wasn't. We took them all.
I'm well aware. I'm very well aware.
We took them all.
I specifically said I know there's not many middles around. You're all coming to me.
Yeah, like I took Spence at like week 1.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When you were like, "Yeah, I'm just signing Spence outright," I was like, "Excuse me."
Well, they just re-signed him, so.
So that's like automatically where like I came into the whole fantasy thing like, oh, we just let shit go. But
we had no set boundaries or anything at this particular moment, so it was like,
But no,
we will get better fun though.
It's very much the middles are an issue. Two set, like as you said, like right, like you've got like match winners at almost every position. It's just unfortunate because in 2024, a lot of those match winners didn't do that for their teams.
That's true.
And yeah, it's another thing depending on because two said Lockie can play off the ball. I promise you he can't. I promise you he cannot.
Maybe with the right coach.
There were a number of times this year where he would touch the ball on maybe every play but one. And Sam Walker needs the ball. So like am I thinking about it like when I sent him there, the thinking was those two could be together long term, especially with Robbo as the coach. But it wasn't so much as the players like imagining them next year. It was more 3-4 years down the road, imagining that pairing of them together. But yeah, it's going to be tough if that forward pack gets no go forward.
Yeah, well, you've got the edges that can get some go forward. Terrell can get some go forward. Cam can get some go forward. It's just when they come off, when they come off, and now I'm relying on Martin Tapu, who didn't really have a great season this year at the Broncos when he got on. Nat Butcher, man, come on, bruh. De La Salle, he young. I can get down with that. But yeah, I guess I just kind of wanted to really get some leadership going with these young guys. So that's why I brought the likes of Latrell in, Cam Murray. Not Latrell, sorry, Roger. Roger's who I was meant to say. I was reading Latrell for some reason because that's where my cursor was.
This leadership of Latrell, of Falau.
I meant to say Roger and Cam Murray, bringing those two guys in, hopefully help settle these younger lads. Yeah, so that's what we're going with. But anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much that. What's your final grade overall for the team, Sam?
you have Israel and Latrell. Like, no middle in those two. Oh, sorry, so no props in those two. I could be. It's tough because, because I also, as I said, I don't think those halves, either one can actually play off the ball. Not seeing how much Galvin has touched the ball this year. So,
Alright.
it's a B with major concerns.
Well, there you go, Roosters fans. That's their grades. Comment down below what your grade is for this Roosters team. And we'll hand over to Tu to give us his Dragons rebuild.
Yes, so not gonna lie, did I even want to do the Dragons? Not really, but I got stuck with them, I guess, and I tried, team. I tried. My thought about it was because they got left so late, there wasn't really anyone I could kind of poach or go after, so we had to be creative. And, we looked to what I guess you could consider the second best league in the world, the Super League. So we made a few moves to bring players that are over there to come over to the NRL and see if they could, to see if they got what it takes to make it in the NRL, pretty much. Didn't really do many trades, but this is the team. We might start at... We might as well start with the heavy hitter. So the biggest move I did was at the fullback. I think this guy's a superstar and could easily make it in the NRL if he ever chose to come over. There is Jack Welsby. He came over via trade. Sloan, you're gone, mate. Go enjoy some time over Super League there, get better, and then maybe you can come back in a couple of years. So that's right. The excited Tyrell Sloan will be applying his trade over in Super League for Jack Welsby. For those that don't know Jack Welsby, just go watch the World Cup Challenge, St. Helens against Panthers. Not last year, the year before, where he looked good. He's also captain the England team already, and he's so young. But I think he plays 6 for this, so multi-purpose. He can play fullback, he can play in the halves. Don't ask me if he's the 6 or the fullback at St. Helens, where he currently plays his try. We're currently playing. I just know he's just different, and I think he could easily make it in NRL. Well, there's always talks about these players coming over from Super League and not doing any good or just being another player. I think he's one of the few that could transcend it and be a superstar talent. So yeah, he's kind of like the biggest change I made because this whole team's revolved around him. We're going to go as good as he goes as far as I'm concerned. I've kept the Whangai brothers, Max and Matthew. They're still there. One's at wing, one's at centre. Moses Sully retains his spot. I have Charlie Staines, which I don't even know how he got here. But he's here apparently. All I've got written down here is Ken Mamalo for Charlie Staines. So that trade went down, and then I don't even know how Ken Mamalo got here. But apparently, oh yes, so that was part of the Jacob Little trade. So Jacob Little's no longer on this team, but he got traded for Ken Mamalo, Tanner Boyd, and Tom Weaver.
Yeah, that was to the Titans, eh?
Yeah, that was to the Titans, yeah. And then Kim Mamalo got traded again for Charlie Staines. I can't remember however that happened. It happened anyway. And then at the halves, if you paid attention
Wait, so who is Ken?
I don't know.
Melbourne.
Somewhere.
Melbourne will have him.
There you go. Melbourne has him. Somewhere. The halves, of course, we got from the Ben Hunt trade to Melbourne Storm for Luke Brooks and Tamari Martin. So those are our halves. I think they could... I actually think they wouldn't be too big of a pairing. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I've decided to bring back Luke Thompson. He currently had a stint in the NRL for my Bulldogs where he played 4 years. And I don't even think he cracked 50 games because he was suspended. He got injured. He did have some mental health issues go on.
Oh.
But, I mean, when you can't steal other people's props, why not just take ones that you know they have played in NRL? And to be fair, he actually wasn't that bad. There were times where he was easily our best player on those really sad teams. So yeah, I just always thought he was a Robin prop, not a Batman prop. So yes, obviously Damien Cook, that one got announced, so he hasn't gone anywhere. He's actually come over. For those wondering where Valentine's Holmes is, you would know he's on Manly, as he got moved there before the trade got made official. So we weren't in time to get him. Jack DeBellin, who I think he's just a classy player in my eyes, so he wasn't going anywhere. He's staying. And then the second row is staying the same. You see Luciano Leilua, Jaden Sewer, and then we got John Bateman. He has come over in the trade for Christian Tuipulotu and Blake Laurie they were straight from the Tigers, was it?
No, Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders. There you go, team. I like it. If you're wondering, yes, there is a bit of an English flavour to this team with connections in certain area. I think John Bateman is a 13. He kind of someone that just needs the ball. Luke Thompson. But again, Jack Wellsby will see how good he can do. He might have to do a little bit too much for this team, but hey, we're going to give it a try. We decided to sign Blake Taff. He got an early release from the Bulldogs because they were like, yeah, Bolt, you can just go. So I figured, why not?
Need that money for KP?
Yeah. He's going to play the 14. I think he could just be a live wire X Factor off the bench. Raymond Faitala Mariner is still there. He retains his spot on the bench. You got Francis Molo and Hame Saleh, who I believe is coming over from Sydney, from the Rabbitohs. So that's pretty much started 17, and then 18 to 21, we got the Couchman brothers, Ryan Toby. You then have Tanner Boyd and Tom Weaver. So 2 players in trades that didn't even crack the team. Yeah.
I think that happened in your Sharks team as well. I think all the Titans players that I moved to other teams didn't make your starting lineups. You got Kinney sitting in the reserves for your Sharks lineup.
Yeah, actually.
Well, that's what happens when you inherit teams, and then you have an idea, then certain players are there, you kind of don't know what to do, then you're just like, nah.
I just bundle them and send them somewhere else.
Also, part of it was I guess I didn't want anyone else to have him. I was like, we'll just keep him over
there. Fair.
I was going to say, you didn't want to send one of those fullbacks to the Dragons?
Nah, man, I got Jack Wellsby. He is my fullback.
Yeah, hard. You've got 3 of the Sharks.
He's got Kenny and Kendall. Oh, no,
Kennedy.
I was like, what's his name? Kennedy and Kenny just chilling.
Yeah.
You're good.
Legit chilling too. They ain't even in the bench. They're on the reserves.
They're in reserve grade.
They're playing New South Wales Cup.
Oh. Yeah, and they're going to like it. Look, well, I had them just for trade purposes, but they were too late to do anything with them. So I was like, oh well. Just what happens sometimes, Players just going to ride the pine. Yeah, look, I don't really know what to do. I didn't think I could get this team anywhere. I think thoughts of trying to get them into the top 8 was a little bit beyond my capabilities. So I figured, why not just... I think
there
the
are
original
teams
thought
that you
was
kind of just got to go like that.
yeah,
Just oh well.
This was definitely one of them where I was like, you know what? I don't think we're going to aim for this. Let's just aim to hopefully not get the wooden spoon. I think the original plan was just to bring as many from the Super League over as I could. There were a few players that I thought about.
Sounds like another team that was supposed to happen.
I think George Williams was someone I thought about bringing over. Used to play at the Raiders. Bevan Finch is someone who looks like he should have come back to the NRL now. I think he's playing as a 6 now.
Brett Finch?
Yeah.
Isn't he in jail?
No, Bevan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brett's in jail the way for.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't.
Oh! Fuck.
Have you not seen it?
No, I haven't. I don't think I want to either.
You don't.
It's crazy, bruh. It's crazy.
But,
I
think I looked to move one of the second rowers.
Who?
Then even again.
Who's that other one?
Leilua
Luciano.
Yeah.
Got any props?
Yeah, go check the ballon, mate.
I might ruin Manly's chances and give me some props.
I told you, man. I've got Griffin name.
Griffin,
No, your asking price is too ridiculous.
Yeah, you're
You
asking.
need
Look what you got.
You need a prop, and I have a good one for you.
I don't need a prop. I just said it'd
Jackson
be
Ford
ideal
is
if
your
we had one.
starting prop. You need a prop.
Nah.
I was thinking
You
before,
also
should I
need
try
a
get a
wing.
winger? But then I'm like, I can't be bothered doing a trade on the spot. So we just read it off the list.
You should upgrade a winger.
Hey, the Fangai brothers are all good.
I'm not talking about him.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. The Dragons also told one of them get.
Well, look, it is what it is. Yeah, well, I've totally forgot about Charlie Staines.
Surely that's got to count. He can't have the thing up. One of them.
Where'd the other one go?
The club told him get out.
Yeah, but where's he gone?
Not at the Dragons.
No, we'll see.
Well, it hasn't been announced, has it?
Yeah,
And actually,
Released, has he?
he's off contract.
Oh,
Yeah, but
then
no
we
one's
just-
picked him up.
We just signed him then.
The club agrees. Aye.
But yeah. thoughts anyway.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Luke Thompson, not exactly the most reliable to be there.
I don't even know who that is.
He actually did have some decent reps coming over, eh?
Yeah, but to me he's too got no legs, like chicken legs. So everyone would just tackle him like leg tackle, and just he had decent games for us. Like he was one of our better players when he was playing, but never quite hit the ceiling that he was expected of. Yeah, too much pressure put on him and just didn't quite deliver on his pay price. But it is what it is.
I mean, him, Cookie's aging, Bateman's aging. He also might have just been really fed up at the Tigers.
No, he is. He's fed up.
I don't blame him. I'm fed up of watching him. He's been cheap since he got there, but I mean, like in comparison to a lot of the other teams, this team's not getting there, and so much of that does revolve around Wellesby to be basically the clear-cut Dally M if they're going to do anything at all. I'm surprised. Honestly, I thought you might have moved Sewer to try and get maybe not some top tier talent, but sort of lift up the bottom tier a bit. But I mean, with being so late,
everyone was pretty much gone. So I kind of went into the mindset of winning or even top 4, top 8 was just gone. It wasn't even a thought process. It was just what's left?
The mindset was not the spoon.
Yeah, it's let's try not to get the spoon, eh? See how we go with that. And what was left?
You see, your grade then, based off of you just trying to avoid the spoon, I'll give that an A. That's an A minus in terms of trying to avoid the spoon. In terms of playoff aspirations and hopes, I mean, it could be an injury-plagued season for most of the other teams. You could make it. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, with what's left around the league, we don't have much. All positions are all but sealed up. I mean, look, you're starting a Tiger player that just got rubbished around. So you did the best with what you got. You got Luke Brooks, a former Tiger player that again just got rubbished around.
Yeah, hey man, congrats, Luke. You made the playoffs once. It ain't happening again. not that Dragons team. Oh.
I think I also might have been a bit GM'd out because we did it all in like one night. So by the time I got there, I just felt.
Yeah, to be honest, with what's left of the teams, and we've only got the Panthers left now, so there's not really anyone to choose from. So I guess with what we've got, that's about as good as it gets.
It's about as good, yeah.
I don't know, see, because I know who's on the Raiders bench. So I know there's still some really, decent NRL players there who just didn't make
for
it.
a trade then?
I don't want anyone on that team.
Yeah, see, exactly. So what do you want me to do? You say there's heaps of players here, but it's not like they're available.
No, yeah,
they're not available, though.
They are, just...
See? But what, not for anyone on my team? Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
There was a reason why when you said yes to the Bateman trade, I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God I don't have to give him more things.
There's just no one to get. Or no one that's... Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Where, the only real trade piece there is Sewer. But, he's not going to get you really the reinforcements that you need.
Nah.
Hey, do you want David Clemmer?
Nah,
David Clemmer, Griffin Name.
Don't do it.
I feel like
Name.
my 16, 15, 17s are good. That's a solid bench. It's not like a blow you away bench, but...
I'm giving you
it'll
middles.
do some mahi.
Yeah.
It'll do some mahi.
I'm giving you some middles for when Thompson's injured. Ray Gula, can't interest you in that?
Not really. Those are just sideway moves.
Yeah.
But they're up.
It's just swapping scrap for scrap.
They're up though when Thompson's injured. Oh, who's your other? The Bellin.
The battle's not bad.
Yeah, I actually forgot about the Bellin.
Is he the one that wasted most of his career because of that false accusation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ratchet.
Yeah, he lost 3 years.
Yeah. Of prime
and
too.
He was mean too.
Bro,
he was mean when it first came out.
That was, yeah. Don't lie. Whatever you do listening at home, don't lie. And don't be Brett Finch. Don't be him.
Definitely don't be him.
All right, moving along now. We have the 2 games from the weekend just gone. Storm hosted the Roosters on Friday the 27th of September. Now, I don't know if you caught this, but at the end of this game, as the Storm players were taking a lap around the field after they graciously thumped the Roosters 48-18, there was one animated Roosters fan. I think he might have even been the same Bulldog fan that was screaming wanker a few weeks ago, but he was trying to give Harry Grant a piece of his mind, and all Harry Grant had to say was, choice, bro. He gave him 2 thumbs up as this Roosters fan was absolutely spraying him. Now, look, I get it. Be passionate about your team. But, brother, why are you going off at the opposition? Spray your own team. They're the ones who didn't show up. Don't blame Harry for having a mean game. That's on you. Get good. I'll throw it over to you, boys. What were your thoughts, takeaways, and feelings for this Friday night banger? Because,
You can kick us off, Sam.
It kind of breaks down to 2 things, right? Like the Melbourne spine, and then the reffing. The reffing's probably the next takeaway from this game. But yeah, kind of like what you said before we started recording, right? Like that's probably the best game from a spine we've seen. I can think of maybe a few other Melbourne games where it actually wasn't the whole spine though. There was more Cam, Cronk, and Billy, and then whoever the 6 was just kind of was there. So those 3 before have had really good games all together and been really influential. But man, that game from the House was unreal. Nelson. My whole thing was, right, like, if whoever wins that toss, they have to kick off. They have to kick off, because if you have Jared coming up trying to smack you on the first tackle, very good chance somebody's injured. Meanwhile, flip side, right, like, if you're the one kicking off, then you've got Nelson who's coming to hit someone. Now, did we think Nelson was going to hit someone on the head? No. Did I think Jared was going to hit someone on the head? Like off the first hit up. I knew both of them would probably hit someone in the head at some point. Just not the first tackle. But yeah, I don't know. Actually, I genuinely just don't remember a lot from this game. Just that, like, the spine really killed it. They picked on Carey so much. Speed-wise, they just went after him. And then... the reffing. Some calls, some non-calls. Jesus, some non-calls were bad. What about you two? What do you got?
You pretty much touched on the main one. Just that spine. That spine was just out of this world. So timely reminder of how good Pep is. Because sometimes you forget just how dangerous he is and the X factor he provides. Because, man, you forget just how quick he is until he just burns people and makes it look effortless. You know, you had a few Roosters playing their last games, and you said it, poor Carey, he just got attacked and made to look like someone that probably should retire, was on closer to retire than at the start of their career. But, yeah, man, that spine was just absolutely dominant. They just killed them down the middle. It was just... Roosters had a chance at the start, and it looked like, they could kind of shock them after the sin binning happened, or the 10 minutes. They controlled that part, but then once they got through that stage, it was like the second they got momentum, it was game. They just never let them in again, other than the 2 tries the Roosters got at the start of the second half to make it a game. But even then, you kind of knew like the tide will change eventually, and sure enough it did. And Storm just absolutely stormed home. It kind of looked like a bit of a changing of the guard at centre there, the Howe with Manu matchup. Well, that's how I was viewing it anyway, one on the way out, and looking like Howe have kind of won that battle. Manu just, I don't know, didn't have... I felt like he didn't get the ball. Now I felt as though that was also part of the Storm's game plan, because they kept kicking to... Who was on that wing? Who's the wing on Carey's side? Is that Tupou?
Yeah, Tupou.
Yeah. Felt like every kick went that way, and then the first 2 or 3 hit-ups would be on that side, so by the time Manu got the ball, it would only be... Or if he even got the ball, it would be like the 4th tackle. He just couldn't really do much. The only time you seen him switch sides was when there was like 5 minutes left to go. You know, and I was like, man, where was that the whole game? You know, like, he kind of just stuck on his side. I felt as though he needed more involvement. And when he did get the ball, Jack Howe was on his game. You know, he played solid D on him. And yeah, so that was kind of interesting to watch. Somewhat a changing of the guards there. But going back to the sin binning, it's another game, right? They just got affected in the first play of the game. Lindsay Collins done for the whole game, and they kind of needed him. I was a bit surprised they brought Linu on. I wouldn't have done that. I would have kept Linu to his minutes and brought on either May or White. So I was a little bit surprised, because it's the thing about Spencer Linu, right? Like, he wants to be an elite prop, but I feel as though he's just so good off the bench. He doesn't have the same impact when he starts games. Like, to me, he could go down as potentially one of the greatest props off the bench, you know, interchange players. Like, his impact on the game when he comes on is next level, but he doesn't have that impact when he starts, or I don't see it anyway. So I thought I was a bit surprised that he was the one that came on. I would have brought on one of the other 2 and let his impact influence the game, because he kind of, I mean, you didn't even really notice him in that game. No, albeit Storm did have all the ball and were kind of dominant, but even he's so good at changing momentum. I mean, we've seen it throughout the whole year and in Origin. During their 10 minutes before halftime when he comes on, he just changes games. Even when the other team's got momentum, that's his ability. So I thought they took that away when they brought him on for Lindsay Collins. Hughes looked like he was going to be binned for his one about a minute after the Nelson play. But then, I know that would have been almost too big of a call to have two players sin bin in the first 2 minutes of a game. That would have been next level. Would they have changed outcomes? Probably not. I just think Storm were just on another level again, and that spine, they all played really good, all did their job. Teddy tried, but even Jared didn't. His impact wasn't quite there. All the ones that they're leaving, Jared, Joey Manu. I thought Suali was good. I thought he was good. I thought Tupou wasn't too bad, but it just wasn't their day. And then I just thought, Storm too good. Roosters just weren't there, had their moments, or had a couple of moments, but Storm just too classy, man, honestly. And I thought they sent a strong message to the other team that they're ready. They're ready for the moment. They deserve their spot in the final. They've been arguably the best team all year. Now they get a shot. Just whether they can deliver on the day, really.
Hey, man.
I don't know.
That's about all I got. Yeah.
I struggle with it because I think if Jerome does go to the bin, and he definitely should have, that's 11 on 13 for 9 minutes? Yeah. 9, maybe 8 minutes? That's a lot of time. And, it's Melbourne, but it's also just you spread them that much. You spread them that much more across the field that I do feel like at some point the Roosters are going to find the gaps and they are going to pile on points.
Yeah.
And it's... I agree on the Spencer thing. Spencer shouldn't have been the first one off. It should have been... For me, it should have been May. And that was because I think it might have been 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. I was listening to Levels, and Mace compared May to what Jesse used to be, where he was that front row who can play longer minutes. He's not so much like Spencer, where it's impact. His is more workload, footwork, and then if he's got the ball playing, then he can also ball play as well. That's kind of what his thing was. So when you lost Lindsay, that's kind of what you needed. And then when Jared comes off, that's when you bring Spencer on, just to go and try belt them. But it was...
Terrell's definitely the better starter out of those two coming off the bench.
Yeah.
During Origin periods, Terrell May was their best prop. He was their best forward. He was always scoring at least one try. Sometimes he'd get 2-3 tries. He was so effective when he was starting. When Spencer was off injured and not injured, suspended at the start of the year, and then Jared had his couple of spells, and Terrell was starting. Bro, his fantasy points were just going through the roof because his work rate was through the roof. His ability to get over the line on top of his work rate just pushes his value through the roof. If the Roosters are looking long term, Terrell needs to be starting next year, taking Jared's spot, and Spence still comes off the bench.
Yeah, I can see it. And the other thing was how you said it doesn't feel like Joey got a lot of the ball. But I've been so frustrated by the Roosters every time I've watched them. He doesn't, bro. He stays on that edge. He stays on that edge and then occasionally shifts. I thought once those two went down, Trent would have said, brother, just roam. You've got to go, because if we can't get you the ball out there with Sandon, you're not going to touch the ball enough. And they do. They needed him to touch the ball.
That's what I was going to say. This is one game where you felt the absence of Sam Walker and Brandon Smith. You didn't really feel the absence last week. They needed those two this week, and it showed. Because Sando disappeared. He was nowhere to be seen. Keary, as good as he was on offense, just got exposed on D. Well, that whole side did really.
Yeah.
But yeah, they missed those two, man. They missed them badly.
There were little parts in that game, especially early, where I thought Angus was doing too much defensively. there were times, but there were genuinely times where Angus was on the other side of the field. like not the middle, the other side of the field in defense. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? There was one, I'm pretty sure it was the one where, was it Hughes? Went back inside to Paps in the gap between... No, it was Paps. He got to the outside of Carey, flicked back on the inside of the gap, and that's where Hughes scored. I'm pretty sure if you look at that set, Angus was over the other side and had just gotten back to that side when they did that. So it's like, there were definitely parts where I felt like Angus was doing a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And there were definitely periods where I was like, oh, Angus is gassed. He's gassed and you can't take him off. But yeah, like Carey got exposed, and then the Roosters got back into it in the second half. And then I saw it clear as day. There was definitely a knock on by McDonald, right? McDonald to Katoa, and then Hughes scores his second.
I don't know, man. Never know with these.
And in real time, I was like, that's a knock on. It's clear as day. It's a penalty, which I don't know. The NRL just seems to not do anymore. If you're in front of it, it's an accidental offside. I used to get super frustrated with it when a player, like when the ball would like hit a player and then they'd catch it, and they'd be, oh, that's clearly an offside. Versus like that's a natural reaction to grab the ball. But they're offside and they clearly play the ball. That to me is definitely a penalty, number one. But it was a knock on first. But yeah, so they get the ball back. I think they score maybe a play or two later. That can't be reviewed. It can't be challenged. It was kind of like the 4-pass. Do I think they ultimately win the game? No. But there are different times where like the Roosters have like momentum going their way, and then they get a really bad call go against them, and it just kills everything for them.
Yeah, I think we might. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think the Storm were just too good to. But we'll move on to the second game, and who are they playing in the final? Of course, it's none other than Penrith Panthers. I think we all got the final we wanted. The two best teams have been all year. Probably the two best teams of the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, really, if you wanted to go that far.
100%.
But we will review Penrith's game against the Sharks. And the Sharks came to play, man. I'll tell you what. I said in the preview, if they do what they did last week, they'll have a chance. And they came out to play. They didn't look overawed by the occasion. In fact, looked like they were up for it. And they stayed in the fight. They stayed in the fight for big portions of this game. But the Panthers, too good in the end. I just feel as though they have multiple ways they can win. They're really good at staying in the grind. And they had to for large portions of this game. Kind of just biding their time, waiting for the other team, waiting for the Sharks to make a mistake. And when they did, they pounced on it. Trying to remember how this game went, to be honest. But yeah, their first half was just back and forth. No one really took a hold of the game, and it went in 10-2 at halftime. There was only one try, Paul Alamotti. And then how did they get... Oh, that's right. They got a couple of penalties. I mean, the Sharks were there, but I've been saying it a few times in this podcast. If your teams make a mistake, you have to make them pay. The good teams do. There was a 10-minute period where Penrith did un-Penrith-like things and unforced errors coming out of their own half. I'm pretty sure it was like 3 or 4 sets in a row where they didn't even get to a kick. It was like knock on, just things you don't expect from them. But they do have a tendency to be beaten in rain, I believe, right? Isn't rain meant to be like Penrith's Achilles heels? Like when they play in wet weather, they tend to be a beatable team. But Sharks, they had the opportunities. They were inside the 20, multiple sets, and just could not get it done. And if you're playing a team like Penrith, you have to take your chances, because eventually you will make a mistake and you will pay the price, as they did. can't remember what happened, but Katoa scored a try. There was a beautiful one. And then it looked like Hines had scored a try. But it got reviewed, and that's when Mulitalo got called for the knock-on. I think it was a Trindle kick. Mulitalo went up.
Oh.
It kind of just bounced, ended up in Hines' hands. It goes underneath the bar. And that right there would have been like the moment, because I believe that try would have put them up with the kick to come, I believe. Could be wrong about that. But, you know, they would have put Penrith on the back foot, and Sharks had all the momentum. But it wasn't to be, and what followed next was like 4 or 5 minutes of just pure Panthers genius. Nathan Cleary does it again. This guy just has to have moments. Last week he played an almost perfect game, and this one here he wasn't as dominant, but he had every big moment kind of felt like it happened off him. He did like a 40-20. I can't remember if it was in the first half or the second half. I think it might have been the first half. 2 plays later, he sends Alamoti over for the first try. It was just like, he just goes bang, bang. The To'o try, I think it was the final tackle on the left side. He gets the ball, cuts back short side. It goes to Luke Garner, I believe. Then Luai ends up back in Cleary's hand, and he does the old kick across field, bounces, and it's To'o try time. Just out of nothing. He just gives you moments to just remind you that, yep, I'm low-key that dude. And as long as I'm here, we're going to have a chance, because up until then, man, it was just all Sharks in that second half. They go, To'o scores that, and then I believe they score the very next set. And you could just see it. Sharks' heads just dropped. They knew. You know, you fight to stay in games, and you give yourself chances. You don't capitalize, and then they just go bang, bang. Game pretty much over. And then Liam Martin scores the try off top. But a close game all over. Real back and forth. It wasn't the clinical Penrith performance. In fact, they made a lot of mistakes. Sharks. Oh no, man, that was your chance. You honestly could have beaten them with the amount of opportunities they gave you. But they just weren't good enough. I think there was too much Hines, not enough Trindle. Trindle should have taken control of the situation, I think. But Hines, I don't know, felt like he had to be Batman again. He should have just went back to playing Robin. But yeah, that's how I saw it anyway. Not the best performance from Panthers, but enough to get it done. Sharks, you had your chances, but you blew it. And Penrith are too good, man. They go through.
From what I remember, there was the first half. Trindle kicks a 40-20. He kicks it.
Oh, yeah,
Dylan Edwards' foot is on the line, and he taps it back in. The touch judge is staring at his foot. That's all good. And then I think it's like the next set. Cleary, it's a clear obstruction. I don't know how he's well behind the 10-meter line. Ends up well in front of the 10-meter line and the ball, and isn't called for not disruptor. What's it called?
Competing the...
Yeah. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, like he doesn't get called for that. That gets challenged. The bunker says, he's competing for the ball. He's got his back turned. He's literally run from in front of where the ball lands. He's now well past it with his back turned. And he's veered into the way of an attacking player. But from what we saw from the rest of the game, I still don't think as frustrated as I was at the time. What we saw is that the Sharks just didn't really have the attack to benefit from it, because they had enough chances in that second half to where they should have been able to at least get in front. Yep. So after seeing that second half, nothing would lead me to believe that they're gonna have scored in those positions there other than taking penalties. The Cleary pass to Alamoti was pretty nice. The play where I was like, okay, relax now, was the Cleary kick across the to Tor. I saw it. I thought, because Luai runs out of dummy half, I thought Luai had truly screwed it. I thought he had screwed up the play massively. And then, yeah, finds Cleary. He kicks it. He's got like a third of a field to land that ball in because everybody's so tight around the play, around like that side of the field. And then it bounces, it falls perfectly. And I'm like, in the moment, I don't know how you like sum that up so quickly and then put it basically on the perfect spot for it. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. This Penrith team seemed incredibly beatable, especially after watching what Melbourne did. So I kind of thought before the weekend round, like, it was going to be probably the Storm. Oh, sorry, probably Penrith, that we're going to be like, they're gonna have a really good chance to win because they're going to pump the Sharks. But it's vice versa now, where I'm like, oh man, that team just looked super beatable. But I still am somewhat thinking about the last time they played each other in the finals, and what our Penrith smoked them by like 30 points. Like, I don't really know how to kind of like reflect them because I don't really remember the game all that well. Like, I remember specific moments, but not the entirety of the game. I just remember the overall feeling was that like this Penrith side, if they play like that again, probably lose the grand final.
Yeah, that's how I felt as well. Was that if they played the Storm that week, they would have been out. You can't give Storm that many chances. So it makes for an interesting final. You have the Storm coming off a near perfect game. Like, can they repeat that? And you got the Penrith who didn't really have the greatest game. So it's like, I know, it gives like tale of two sides really, and who's gonna go through. But there's Penrith, right? Gone are the days where they care how they win. They just know, how to win. Whether it's smashing you by 30 points or grinding you out or winning by golden point, they just do not care. But they've got the know-how and the can-do attitude and the players that can still get it done. So good on them. I have to give credit to the Sharks though, because everyone ripped them off. I don't think the score reflects how tight that contest was. The last 10 minutes kind of just got away from them, but when your season's over, it's like, it's over. You saw it in the Liam Martin try. Trindle just gave up. The whole three just gave up. But yeah, they finally got the hoodoo off them, finally got that victory in the playoffs. I think they'll be better for it because they know they can do it now. They got to make a few changes though, the Sharks. But for Penrith, if you get a shot, that's all you've asked for, right? Is a shot at the final. That's 5 in a row now. Going for a historic 4th in a row. They're going to have to face the team here in a large way, I feel, is responsible for the start of this dynasty, Melbourne. So Melbourne kind of started it. Can they be the ones to end it? I think the difference between these two teams, low-key, might be Pep. But I guess we could talk about that in the preview episode of the final. So yeah, I'll leave that there in terms of the review, unless you got anything final to add, reviewing that Panthers Shark game.
No.
Yeah, I was sick the whole weekend, man. So I caught nothing but Z's. I caught nothing but Z's, brothers. If you guys listening at home are wondering why I'm so quiet, because I was catching Z's, Fano. Your boy was sick. And he needed to be healthy for this coming weekend. Otherwise, we can go check out the power rankings. Should we go check out the power rankings and the team of the week? Who's our sponsor this week? Who do we have? I will come up with something weird again, like last week. We had baby oil.
Pump water.
Yeah. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, stay hydrated for all your hydration needs. Don't reach for a Coke, reach for a pump. And when you finish, take your old lady to town and give her a pump. Pump hydration. Premium hydration fluids. Fueling all the greatest athletes like Paul Alamuti, Cameron Munster, and Brian Tor. All sponsored by Pump. Pump gives you wings.
Yeah. Right, Pump's never jumping on board as a sponsor. Take your
Ladies and
missus
gentlemen, you
to
know
town.
the show is not sponsored at all.
Oi.
But if you want to sponsor us, if you own Pertec, sponsor us. If you own Pump, sponsor us. You can get sensual with the pump. I don't know what else to say about the pump.
Let's go to the power rankings, eh?
The power rankings. Brought to you by Pump. Hydrate yourself. These are the power rankings that they're not getting updated anymore. This is it. This is how they're going to start next season. At the bottom of the table, we've got the South Sydney Rabbitohs, then the Broncos, then the Tigers, then the Dragons, then the Titans, then the Warriors, then the Dolphins, then the Eels, then the Raiders. And your top 8 looks like this. Bulldogs at 8, Eagles at 7, Knights at 6, Sharks at 5, Cowboys at 4, Roosters at 3, Panthers at 2, and Storm round out at 1. Sharks are at 5 because, man, they ain't done shit. They ain't done shit to impress me. And like Shania Twain said, that don't impress me much, you don't get on the power ranking. The team of the week. Our second to last team of the week. Sam, you do the backs. 2, you do the halves. I'll do the props.
Yep.
Sweet.
Sweet.
All right, this is the practice runs team of the week. Brought to you by Pump. Gives you wings. Where you go, Sam?
At fullback, we have Ryan Pappenhausen. On the wings, we have Brian To'o and Will Warbrick. In the centres, we have Jack? Howarth. We have Howarth. And then as our other centre, we have Paul Alamotti.
And in the halves, we have gone with the dynamic duo from the Melbourne Storm, that is Kevin Munster and Jerome Hughes.
Yes, and from Ngāpuhi, at our prop, we've got James Fisher-Harris. Also from Ngāpuhi, they've got Harry Grant. Also from Ngāpuhi is Josh King. From Tonga, Ali Katoa. Ah, shit, I forgot to take it off. Who was the other second row? I got Ola Kawatu.
William Martin. William Martin is our other edge.
Yeah, another
somehow
edge.
He passes HIA.
Yes, because he's from Ngāti Porou. Oh, Liam Martin from Ngāti Porou on the other edge. And rounding it out, Isaiah from Porirua, Isaiah Yoza. And that is your semi-finals team of the week, presented to you by Pump. Get more action, less attraction with Pump. Next week we might do it from Trojan horses or some shit. Anyway, that is your team of the week and your power rankings. One more show, and then we break down the grand final. You guys, I don't even know if you're going to be ready for that. Also, we do pre-record these. We've told you guys, previously that we pre-record these. I'm assuming that by the time you're listening to this, the Michael Maguire news has probably dropped. Whether or not he's becoming the new head coach of the Broncos. I've been reading a lot whilst you guys were breaking down the games, I've been reading through a lot of the articles. Some of it is saying that he's waiting for the New South Wales CEO to come back from holiday to release him from his contract. This article saying that he has been released from his contract. It's all still up in the air. We can't speculate, but if it comes out by the time you're listening to this, well, we'll update you on Thursday, all right? Be patient. We can't always be ahead of the beat, okay? We pre-record this. This isn't our full-time job. But if you sponsor us, it could be, and then we could bring you the freshest news right off the press. Live on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Yeah. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. It's a little bit longer, but a little bit refreshing. We haven't done an episode this long since we had like 16 games to get through. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Share it with your cousins. Share it with your mum, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, your nephew, your niece. Share it with your neighbour. They might be keen. Like, next time you invite your neighbour over, have a barbecue, have a beer, and be like, bro, have you checked out the practice run? It's your frontline pass of the harder sports section. And then just lead into that. Or, you know, your colleagues at work. Be like, hey, did you know every win, every tackle, what does that one go? Experience the rush with us. Something like that's not my line, so. What's your one, Sam?
Oh, well, is it my line? I was like, is this two's line?
It's someone's line.
It's two's line.
That's my one. That one.
Yeah.
We'll see. Just slide into conversation. Like, could you imagine just going up to someone who's like, experience the rush with us? Oh, do you listen? Yeah, gee. Let's go. From the sideline to the try line.
Powering our play every episode, every day.
Yeah, man. A shout out to who?
99 Dreams.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, thank you all so much for listening. I'm done for today. I'll see you on Thursday. Hand it over to Sam and Sue for the final words.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Gee, you're doing a long one in Auckland now.
Thank you.
You're doing the outro.
Thank you for listening. It's been a hell of a ride.
I thought you were a thespian. I thought you were good at this. You told me you were an actor.
At no point did I say I was good. I just said I took drama.
Thought you were a thespian, man.
No.
Like Othello.
I'm like a method actor. I've got to believe it.
Bro, I thought you were going to say method addict.
No. Method actor. No, yeah, but shout out 99 Dreams. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Over to you too.
Yes, as always, we want to give a shout out to all of our friends and family, both near and far. We really do appreciate the support here at the practice run. And that is it. It's a bit of a long episode. We are finally here, team. One game left to go for all she wrote. It is what I think could potentially go down as one of the greatest finals of all time. Two dynasties about to clash. Everything's on the board. We'll go over everything in next episode, breaking each key matchup down. But until then, we will stop it there. We will see you on Thursday, and always be safe. Cheers to the Churfano, Mā te wā.